Snack time over. Oh. Look at you!
Oh, your head.
There's a magic spinning device above you, okay? I trust you. But you're gonna have another red spot right here.
Small.
Small. You're small. You're small.
Amongst the Vatican? Yeah, I small.
Small. I think I need to think.
The smallest warrior, but the fiercest one.
Exactly.
Yeah. Warrior.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of things I want to talk that are connected to each other, but are like on different time periods of the day, right?
That's the hard part.
That's the really hard part. It's like, it's not linear.
No.
You learn more details as you go throughout, and different things connect, and all these stories have like different connections that are like hours and days apart. I feel like it has to start with the Orc Camp. Griff's whole thing this year was looking for closure for his father. He may have got it in a certain way. Basically, there was a whole group of Vaticans I already mentioned before that we were trying to go up into the woods. This group included Fafnir, Finnick, Desmond, one other Vatican whose name I thought was Brynworth. Specifically I thought it was Bryn. And then I heard people keep saying Brynworth, and so I just assumed that it was that whole name. It was Bryn. Then there was
Sigrid.
Sigrid, I think so.
Sigrid.
Yeah, the archer.
Yeah.
Yeah, an archer.
Rodnyar.
Yeah, Rodan. I said archer, but yeah. Thank you.
She is an archer, but she's from the Rodnyar.
Oh, I thought you could be both. That's rough. Anyway, so long story short, we've been going through. It was a busy day, and like we've all been in the camps in the bazaar. We hadn't really explored the woods. I did. I was actually on a rescue mission because a Vatican genuinely got lost, or people thought they were. I was with Gien and the Corey boys. There was a Vatican that actually had literally gone missing. They couldn't find them because they were in the woods. They went hiking and then they just lost them.
Oh.
And so we were in the woods looking for, like, going deep into the woods trying to find them. Ike finds some things Kostiak would be very happy with.
Yep.
And we looked for them and then we came back. And that was like the only time in the woods. This was our first expedition looking for treasure. And we went in the woods. We went up and we tried looking for an alternate route. Because we had noticed there was an orc that was up there. But a single orc, just one, that was hanging up on the forest path. And he went off to the Riverland camp, like the direction of Riverland camp. And so we went through the woods. We got to one of the drop zones, I want to say. I'm actually really confused because I wish there was more documentation. I wish there was more communication, because like there's obviously supposed to be loot in the woods, right? And without knowing the specifics, all we found was silver thread that was tied around certain trees or stuff like that. And obviously that means something, right? And we all assumed it was like this is an area of importance to go look for stuff. But it was never clear on how or where, and I hate those kind of quests, right? Of like, there's so much uncertainty. You don't know if someone else had already looted this. Am I wasting my time? Is it actually here and I just can't see it? I found out later, Ongram had found, I think it was Ongram, it was either Ongram or Ike, that had found one like 50 feet away from one of those. That was like deep in the woods. So I'm still so confused about that. Regardless of that, we found it, we started hiking. And then we heard yelling. A bunch of Rivlins got attacked by the orcs that were further up. Mm-hmm. And we were like, let's leave them be. Let's just have them.
We're gonna leave
them be. And so we were trying to make a plan to get out.
Sneak.
We were trying to make a plan to get out of there. And I guess we tried to make a plan to get out of there with a whole group of us. This was a special group. We had planned this together. We planned to do this. And the orcs started coming towards us. And at first it was one orc, then it was two, and then it was six. and it was a bad situation. We were stuck between the orc camp and the orcs, and the only way out was down a ravine that ran off to the left towards Vatican camp. At the time, I was still spell scribe Griff, right? Technically. In terms of armor. I still had my staff, I had my single gambeson, just that, and my sword. I was the character, like, this was the one that had gave up the weapons. And it was a bad situation. I think Fafnir went down first, not for lack of trying. He had his shield, he had his sword, he was trying to use it properly, but he was on bad, rough terrain. He got caught up in some branches, and he got taken down. I wanted to run, but I couldn't. There was Finnick, who he had his, I believe, his spear at the time, and he got hit by the leg, and then couldn't hobble out, and he got taken down because he couldn't go fast enough. Sigrid, there was one orc that was going around the side trying to flank us, and Sigrid was trying to aim at him. He got hit by a few arrows by her. She was a good shot. But the orc was just behind too many trees. It wasn't a clean shot. Desmond is the only one that escaped.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he went down the ravine.
Because he went down the ravine. He is small. He is fast. That's why he was part of the group. We all got
strategy.
Someone got Oh no! I got compelled. For the first time, I got compelled, and they told me to attack Sigrid. And so I went to attack her, and I'm so proud of Desmond, because he just saw that and said, "I'm sorry," and then just stabbed me in the back before running off. And I'm like, "I'm so proud of you." And that is when I took my 5th mortal wound. Mm-mm. I was dead. We all got picked up, and we got carted off. It was the group of... Oh, Halfdan was there as well. I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot Halfdan. Halfdan was taken out as well. We were all picked up and carted off. And
to Oblivion?
To the old camp.
Oh, okay.
We all got picked up and taken to the old camp. There was a group I've already mentioned, plus the Vatican, whose names I can't remember, that I thought was Bryn. And one Suzak and one Rivlin. We were taken off to the old camp. We were all forced on our knees just outside the miasma, kind of right in view of Vatican camp, but like we're kind of off to the side. And they were all doing like a whole little RP thing of just like, which one should we have for the meal? Which one should we have for an enthrall? Oh, that's this one. And like Finnick and Fafnir. I love those two so much. You already know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Finnick and Fafnir. I love those two so much. Oh, and Halfdan. Halfdan was doing so much too. They were giving them some crap, doing your mom jokes and just doing a whole stuff. I loved it, and
I heard that from a lot of people. It was great.
They smacked them in the head of a lot, and they're like, "Okay," smacked them in the head and said, "Okay, time to get up, move." And then we went to the old camp. I think the whole reason they had us outside the camp for so long is they were trying to set up everything inside the camp, and so eventually we got led past the miasma into the camp. Inside the camp was... Actually, now that I think about it, I'm one of the few that's actually seen the inside of old camp.
Yeah.
Besides when the wall fell down.
Yeah.
Also, I'm one of the only ones that lived.
Yeah, you and Sigrid.
Yeah, Sigrid's the only one, yeah.
Was the other person Ren? Not Bryn, but Ren?
I think it might be Ren, yeah.
Okay, because that tracks with some of the things that I know.
Okay.
Because I know Ren went to Oblivion and forgot something very important.
Oh. I'm pretty sure it was Ren. But I thought it was Bryn, which makes it even funnier for later. So we got to the old camp. And to describe the scene, it's behind a wall. The wall is covered in messed up stuff. There's like human skeletons, there's a flayed guy, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you'd see in an old camp, kind of like Lord of the Rings Tolkien sort of style. It was rough. And we got in there, we were outnumbered by orcs. By like 3-1. Maybe 2-1. It was a lot of orcs. It felt like it, and we all kind of put off the side. We all put our weapons down, and there was one of the... I don't know if he was the... I believe he was the king, but it was a orc in charge that was sitting on top of a throne. They had carried another orc that had been injured in the battle off to the side, and were doing healing on him. Do you know how the orcs heal? Would you like to guess?
I've heard. So this is on you.
This is on you, Holly. How do they heal?
What I heard was they stab the wound.
They stab each other.
Oh my god.
There was the orc equivalent of a bone knitter that had a dagger and like took a whole bunch of stuff like, oh, you don't need these intestines, you don't need this, and a whole bunch of RP and stuff like that, shoved it all back in, and then like stabbed them multiple
Oh my
times.
gosh, that sounds terrifying.
This is all happening.
Traumatic. My heroes. Sorry.
Your heroes. You'd be terrified as a orc.
Haya may or may not have like.
All right. Halya's going orc in the future.
Well, Haya was an orphan, had to survive. Escaped orcs several times because she was so small at the time.
Escaped or was let go?
Probably just let go. Sometimes you gotta wait for the meat to.
They did a little like mind little thing, and now you're like a sleeper agent.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So that was all going on there. There were multiple orcs around. There was a campfire in the center, and they had us all. They had Finnick. So they had Fafnir, Bryn, Finnick, and then Halfdan. And I was actually behind a tent with another orc. They had kept me off to the side for the time being, just because there wasn't room. Mm-hmm. I think that's the reason I survived.
Lucky for you, yeah.
That's the reason I survived. Not because like I was out of danger, but because like I was the last one on the list.
Focus.
Yeah,
I was main focus. They were doing a whole RP. They were threatening us. Like, how are we supposed to do it? They made Fafnir sing a song. So being like, "Oh, you're the music man." Like they had us all introduce ourselves, or something like that. They knew Fafnir was the music man, or could sing music, and they made him sing a song, and he was like, "Oh, so like Fafnir played it so well. He's a good actor. Fafnir's a good actor." He was like acting scared and stuff like that. It was like on the ground, like literally like his face in the dirt, like looking up, and he was like, "Oh, orcs, so handsome. Oh, look at y'all, so strong and muscular." And the orc was like, "Enough! Stop it!" And we don't want your something. And Fafnir was like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, awesome. And like, get rid of him, and they just mauled him to death by beating him with clubs.
Oh my god. Epic.
What a way to go.
Yeah.
Where do we go? Fafnir was great. The next one up was so Bryn was next to Fafnir, but they skipped to Finnick, I think. Finnick was like, "Oh, who is this guy?" You know. And the entire time, Finnick is of course trash talking them.
Yeah,
the entire time.
Because it's Finnick.
It's because it's Finnick. And they're like, "I don't like you saying. Stop saying stuff," or something. It was like along those lines. And so they ripped off one ear, being like, "How do you like it now, boy?" And he kept talking, so they ripped off the other ear. And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, your mama." And just the entire time, incessantly. I loved it so much.
Oh.
The last part that took off was they ripped off his nose.
Oh my god.
And he was just like on the ground, just bleeding to death. And he's like, "What do we do with these parts?" "We'll feed him a hen." And they put it to Rin/Bryn. And they fed him the parts before slicing his throat.
Oh my god.
They forced him to the ground. They fed him, forced him the stuff. Then took a knife and just ripped it across his throat.
Oh my goodness.
The orcs are good actors.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then
someone needs to animate this game. That's all I'm saying.
I would love
awesome.
that. And
we know that footage exists.
There is footage apparently. I really want to see it.
Because French Expedition dropped a chunk of that entire thing.
Oh wow.
On his Insta, so we know that footage exists.
Oh wow.
Probably of the whole thing.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It's really good, and like I would feel really bad if I get all the details messed up. This is like again, it was traumatic. I was traumatized in character. I was outside. I was totally fine, but like there was a lot going on. I couldn't keep track of it all. I didn't even notice that French was there at all.
Yeah, at some point you just stopped noticing the camera.
It was around this point. The Reverend, of whose name I don't know, he's the one that I believe we talked to him outside the porta potties.
The ghost?
Yes, there's the ghost. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's him. That's why he was a ghost.
Yeah.
That's why he was a ghost.
Yep.
It's that guy. I don't know his name.
I don't remember.
But he was a hero. He was a hero.
During the like eat Finnick's ears and things, one of the Suzek ran out of camp. You can see it in the video. I don't know if he got away, but he ran out of camp, and we know that Sigrid escaped at some point.
So the Wyvern is why Sigrid escaped. The Suzak disappeared at some point. I don't really remember how it did.
He just ran off.
Just ran
Like,
off.
while they were distracted, he just up and ran.
The orcs did give us quite a few opportunities. Like, they had like weapons that were in reach of us. They had a whole bunch of, like, they gave us opportunities to do stuff like that. But the Wyvern was a hero. One of the weapons that was in reach was, I think it was some sort of small dagger or short sword, and he grabbed it and made a big kerfuffle, yelling "Get out!" or something like that. And he fought off a few of the orcs before dying, but that allowed Sigrid to make a run for it. So that's how she escaped. And then the orc was like, "Close the gate!" So they shut the gate, and then all that was left was me and Halfdan. And they were like, "Okay, what do we do to the last two, boss?" And I'm like, "You know what? Entertainment. Make them fight."
Oh my goodness. To the death?
To the death.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
The entire time, I was trying to figure out a way to make us all alive. I did speak up before everyone had died. Well, I didn't tell the orcs this, but my magic bracelet. I had not used this the entire time. As I already mentioned, it's a bracelet that allows you to poison someone. I had tried speaking to the orcs, saying, "Let me do a one of y'all. If I kill you, we all get to leave, right?" And I was gonna poison the orc. I don't know if poison works an orc, but it was worth a shot. They didn't have that at all. They bonked me on the head. And I believe they said they were gonna kill somebody if I kept talking. I killed everyone anyways. So it was at that point that they grabbed me by my shoulder and forced me to the ground, and then had Halfdan came. Then they took two of the bone daggers that you have, same style, and threw them on the ground in front of us. The last one standing gets to leave. And that culminated all of Griff's story. Right there in that moment. Because the whole point of Griff's story of last time was his father died. His father died in the Iron Hills, and that's the whole catalyst of why he came to last year. The official story is that Griff's father was killed by bandits. The unofficial story, the true story, is that during the fight there was a mage that cast blind rage on Griff, and Griff is the one that actually killed his own father.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea. I'm finding this out for the first time, you guys.
Valley is the only person to know.
I am the only
This
one.
is
She's the only person.
Tragic with the capital T.
And so the whole reason Griff has acted so innocent this time is he's trying to find some closure. And the more and more he's a spell scribe, right? The more and more he's hating magic. Magic is responsible for most of the evil in his life. Both me deciding that and also like in-game things happening bad with magic. His aunt, as much as I joke that Valley killed his aunt, it didn't. It was the malice. It was the magic.
Yeah.
The magic killed his aunt. The magic killed his father. Every single thing he's had with that has been awful. And he was a spell scribe, but he also had in my backstory, he also knew how to use a lot of weapons because he was taught by a Rivlin how to fight. So he knew how to use a sword. He knew how to use an axe. But after his father died,
also they're often train their young.
That too. He basically after that he gave up the two-handed weapons, and that's why. And he was a spell scribe the whole time, and that was the only reason why he didn't use bigger weapons. But in that moment, with him and Halfdan, he looked up, and he had never killed another person. The entire time I played in game, he has never killed or pretty much fought anyone. So like the only person Griff has ever killed in the game world, even like players and stuff like that, was only his father. He had never ever fought anything like that, and he just took a look at Halfdan, and just resigned himself. And he's not proud of it. The only person in character that knows this is Valley of what happened next. I think he's lied to everyone else. He picked up the dagger. Halfdan went to the other side, and Griff just like resigned himself. This is the first time he's consciously made a choice to kill somebody. And I don't know if I could have won the fight with Halfdan. I don't know. We didn't do it. It was the dagger fight. It would have been messy. Both of us would have been injured. But he just took at him and then raised his hand up and looked at his wrist, at the magic bracelet. In the story, I actually told everyone that the reason I had the bracelet was because I found a piss in the woods that gave me cheese and crackers and a bracelet. But he just looked at it and just like looked at Halfdan. He did his sign that we do for fencing, holding the blade up. Let's do this honorably, Halfdan. And he said, and he should put his hand out to shake. And Halfdan walked up to it, grabbed it, and he was trying to let go. But I held on tight, and I pulled him into his brace. I whispered in his ear, "You're poisoned. I'm sorry."
Oh my goodness.
And that was it. Griff wasn't compelled by magic to kill somebody. He used magic to kill somebody.
Oh, that's kind of epic.
And that was a huge blessing. Like the entire thing is like, I even though I had tried so hard for the entire thing to do something different, try to force something, it all happened naturally. This whole thing that happened with this whole story. And how great thing to Halfdan for taking the hit. He immediately went like and it went down the list and then started vomiting on the ground. And then he died. And Griff just stood there and just looked up with his eyes closed. The orcs were, I think they were silent for a second, and then they were grabbed like something there. And they were like, they took me back to the front where Finnick and Fafnir where bodies were laying, because like they were just there on the ground. It's like, and
just dead bodies.
They forced me to the ground onto my knees. And I was acting totally scared. And I'm really proud of myself because I got a lot of compliments from the orcs. I was trembling. I was this whole thing. Trembling because what actions he just did, and because he's an orc camp. Mm-hmm. And I said, "What's your name?" Griff. Griff the map maker. "Oh, a map maker, you say? Well, how about I make you a map?" Or something like that. Like, I give you a map. And they took me on the shoulder and they shoved me to the ground. And they took one of the bone daggers and started carving into my back a map. And I was like, ah, ah, ah. It was more real. I did more realistic at the time, but yeah, that was agony for Griff. And then they let go, and I was on the ground. I started genuinely crying. Not because I was feeling bad or whatever, but because I can do that.
Yeah. Watch out for this guy.
I can do that. And I started genuinely crying on the ground, just sobbing. And apparently no one of the orcs saw the actual tears until I was leaving camp. And they said, "Okay, get up and get out of here." And they shoved me towards the door, and I started limping to the outside, like on the ground, like I was on the ground, just like army crawling with my leg just limping to the side as I'm all crawling out the door. Then I stood up and went back inside and just walked inside, and we just did a whole little debrief afterwards. And then the orc saw me crying. And like, dude, like, I don't know his name. Who's the Suzak / orc, the one with the big beard? Ez? Yeah, he was there, and he was like, "Dude, are you okay? Are you actually crying right now?" And I'm like, "Yes." And like, he's actually crying. Look at this. I'm like, "Yeah." And I got a lot of compliments for that, so I'm pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool for crying, bro.
Pretty cool. And it was a really intense moment. Like I kind of make jokes about it right now and like stuff like this. And like when I reenacted it just now, I did it kind of fake. If like we did it realistically there, like it was like real cries, real sobs, we were like gasps. It was pretty intense. And it was nice to have a little debrief moment to sort of cool everything off, just relax. And we just hung out with the orcs for a second. It was great. We gathered all of our weapons. Sigrid left some of her stuff.
Yeah, because she ran out.
Yeah. So we picked up all the stuff. We started hiking back to camp. Do you want to pause this right now?
Yeah. Now it's my turn.
So I want to preface this. I didn't know this. I didn't know this was happening. Griff thought, he was with the other boy in the orc camp, but he thought he was alone. No, I feel like no one was there. He knew Desmond escaped, but like he didn't even think about Desmond saying something.
All right.
So table to you.
So Griff's crew gets taken, right? Desmond makes his way back to camp. Immediately comes and finds Volley and tells Volley what's going on, which sends Volley into a rage. Because this is not the first time she's nearly lost Griff, by any stretch of the imagination. Him wandering off and getting into trouble is a constant stressor for her. So, in her anger, her desperation, and her need to protect her clans member and her friend, she goes and she gears up. And she's making it very loud about why and where she's going. She's telling everyone as she goes that his group is gone and has been taken by orcs. But nobody else is responding fast enough for her. So she's got her chest plate on. She grabs Desmond and she's like, we're going. She walks out the gate with Desmond in tow, is literally yelling at Ulm through the gate, like the wall, and is like, I'm leaving. If I'm not back, come find me, I guess. And Ulm talks her off the ledge from just going into the woods to see if they're still there. Because she's a Jarl now. She can't just do these things. She's responsible for more people than herself. So she comes back inside to see everyone in the vicinity gearing up. Runar, Ulm, Haikon, and his brother. Everyone she can see.
How many you think?
By the end, maybe 15. Because she also goes back into the crone area where the Vidir and them are hanging out to get her belt and things. Once she's like, okay, I have more time, I can put on like my tassets. So she goes back and she tells them more clearly what's going on. And Herf starts to gear up too.
There was more than just me in that camp. There was the other way, but...
Yeah. So the Vidir are gearing up as well, or at least some of them. I'm pretty sure Runar was gearing up. Other people were gearing up. We're waiting for people to finish. And we see them on the path walking back. And Desmond goes, look, they're back! And all of them go, and we're like, never mind! But of course, I'd already dropped everything and started running out the gate by the time that was communicated. So I turn around and walk back. And I'm like, no, we didn't see them.
You're too late.
Yeah.
Go already dead.
Yeah, but we don't know that. So let's keep gearing up this is still happening. Come on. And then I've got my tassets on at this point, but I'm still not fastened my regular belt with my sword in my pouch. And then you fall to the ground outside and are suddenly there. So we're just, I don't know, it's fine. And Desmond's like, oh no, Griff is here. Griff is back. And I'm like, gone. I'm out the door so fast. I am the first one in this trailing group behind me. And I get to you, and I turn around and go, I don't have my potions. I don't have my pouch. Who's got a restore?
I need a lot more than a restore.
Yeah, but it was enough to get you up.
You got me up on, yeah.
Yeah. So someone passes me a restore. I think I got one back to them eventually. I don't remember. I give it to you, and then you tell me and the Riveneer, who is now right beside you, helping me, that they carved a map in your back.
Can I pause this real quick?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna tell why I was just randomly laying there. So, as we get picked up our stuff, we started head back to camp. We started heading towards Oblivion. We were like, man, all of us died. Man, well, the first mission we had out there, all of us died. All of us died. And we were talking, and we were like, yeah, like, I've never been to Leaf before. I've been basically 4 or 5 this whole time. And then Finna just looks at me like, you do realize you survived, right? And I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I did survive. I forgot about that.
So you just like fell on the ground outside of bed.
And I was like, okay, basically, it was like, okay, so we were like, okay, well, see y'all later. Good luck, y'all. Tell me how it goes. Oh, I guess don't. And then I did a little loop, and I was like, well, I can't just walk into bad camp. And I decided, so, my headcanon is like I said, I almost crawled outside the orc camp. I was just almost crawling the entire way to back in camp. I was going to go to the gate. I was going to do the entire distance. But then y'all came up and started, picked me up and gave me the potion. And like I knew you were coming, and do you know what went through my head?
What?
The enthralled battle last year. Of just like the first time you saw Good Fall. Of just like it was like a flashbang memory of me being like, okay, good, Valley's on the way. Volley's on the way. And it was like, perfect.
Yeah.
And you came and like it was a whole thing. Corvus was there too.
I don't even remember who all was there. I only remember
Corvus is a
Riveneer
bonehead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got you up a little further.
He's one of the ones that did a bit of the
but
thing.
I think it was after we moved you to the Crone Circle.
I think he did it beforehand because like he was because it was the Reveneer that got me to the Crone Zone with
I know,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. But Corvus wasn't there. Corvus was only there I think for the I don't remember.
I don't know. It's all squishy.
Yeah,
all I'm hearing is I need to be an orc now.
yes. Dude, the metal in there. Yeah. So I got dragged back into camp and.
Yeah. So, as the Riveneer is picking you up, he tells me, "Don't look." And of course, Volley has to look because you're one of hers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get you into the camp, and we take you towards the Crone Circle. I don't even really know how to describe.
That is one of the best RP things I have ever done. Like the old camp was probably like the first proper one. That one I think takes the cake though.
Just the number of things running through my head as we were doing this was so many. Like I can't even describe how much was going on in my brain dealing with this. And then when like you were incoherent, like you were completely incoherent, nothing you were really saying was making any sort of sense because you were like jumping.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we need to know what effects he's under. We need to know what's going on. So,
and then I paused. It was like, I'm not ending, but it was like, no, let's do this anyway.
Yeah, because we don't know that.
Yeah.
We can only tell that you're incoherent. So this is the only ritual I did as a potionsmith to identify, I forgot exactly what it's called.
You know, I didn't make that connection.
That's what we did.
You had the,
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had Canute was also standing right there, and I was like, will you help me? So we, like, worked together to do the ritual. That's when I, like, traced Helavi's symbol on your forehead, and we were doing that thing. That's what we were doing, was that ritual. And then you were able to tell us you weren't under any conditions and stuff.
Yeah.
Because, yay.
Yeah, but, like, it's still very traumatized.
Yeah.
He was messed up. He was messed up in a whole lot of ways. Physically and mentally.
At this point, it's just the three of us in the circle, and then Canute backs off as well.
You and I live near.
He
left? He left
it.
Yeah.
And it was just us.
It is. Yeah. Do you want to hear? Do you know what I? Do you want to hear what I said during the uncoherent rambling?
I remember some of the incoherent rambling. I remember you saying it happened again. I was forced to. I had to kill again, and Volley put the pieces together.
Because you were there.
It's my father all over again. Something along those lines, and just all of it went right in place right away. She knew exactly what was happening.
You were the only person there. I was saying that for your benefit. I knew you were the only person that could put it together while everyone else around. Because, like, I also had my eyes closed at the time.
Yeah, so you didn't know it was just us.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just know it was you there. And then I was probably sobbing again. And I was, like, grimacing and doing this whole thing. And, like that was it. It was, like, specifically what I said, second time, all over again, forced to kill again, father, fall over again, second time, and, like, it was that kind of, like, through, like, a grimace, I was saying it, and I started out as being, like, a sobbing sort of thing, and then I was intentionally trying to change it into more of, like, a fury.
Mm-hmm. You did. You definitely did.
I'm glad it came across like that. It came into more of a fury. And then that's when I sat up.
Yeah. And then
you also put me over at one point.
To
look at the map.
check the map. Yeah. Because we wanted to determine if it was important or not.
It'd be really cool if it was, like, plot relevant, but it wasn't. Maybe it will be next year. Who knows?
Was it just the map of the area? Or was it a fake map? Or
it was,
like...
basically what it was, like, again, I was on the ground where my game was sent, and they just did it, and it was supposed to be, like, a map on my back.
Yeah.
Just carved in there. It was, I don't know what map it was. It was the orcs that did it, so you have to ask the orcs. Maybe we can become one. You can find out.
I think I'm just going to stick with being a terrifying Halia.
Oh wait, you still dress up as an orc, but you're just in the kitchen the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, you're just, like, the only friendly orc.
We did draw in some orcs, like, during the game and fed them. Well, they were out of game, like, because they're heading back. But we thought it'd be funny, like, how fiercely you were running the kitchen, how we inspired the orcs to, like, come work for us. Yeah, so, like, having me direct the orcs in the kitchen, and then them being, like, scared of me doing that. I thought that. And so we were talking about bringing the orcs in the kitchen, and then, like, one thing that would lead to that is we were also talking about, like, having the orcs take one of the kitchen people, and then, like, you guys end up fighting the orcs to keep us because they're like, they took us, you know, for food or whatever, and then we're like so fiercely like, oh, you're scary, you know, like, and so they're like, oh, you make food for us, and then you're like, no, we need our kitchen staff back, and then there's like,
I would have loved to have fought, like, they're like, we went there for our kitchen, and, like, Holly the cannibal wouldn't be
like,
upset about that.
Right, and you're like, you guys come to save us, but I'm over there, like, dominating their kitchen.
Oh gosh, I would have loved to have seen that.
That would have been funny, and then, like,
I am really sad, like, besides the first orc battle, and I guess technically y'all trying to save us in the orc camp, there really wasn't, like, a whole Vatican rally. There wasn't that one moment all of the Vatican put all the cards on the table. I'm kind of sad about it.
It's because there were so many attacks, it just wasn't feasible. Because
being so overwhelmed.
We were so tired that day because of all of the attacks and all of the things we were dealing with. Mind you, this is all still before the Wraith.
And yeah, the plot's just going crazy.
Yeah.
We took the way 2 hours ago.
I know.
And now now we're almost there. We're a couple hours in game from there too.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild.
But yeah, to wrap it all around, like that is one of my favorite RP moments. That's why Reckoning was so good for me. Was that specific? The old camp was definitely up there, but it was the old camp was like the catalyst to what that happened in that circle.
Yeah.
And there's a few things that Griff said that's not popular among the Vatican that I don't know if you heard. I'm going to keep that in a secret from now.
I don't know.
But that was part of the ramble.
Freaking magic, you hate it, or
No. That one I'm not. Yeah, Griff hates magic. Griff hates freaking
and
magic.
the gods hate you.
I get that part too. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything else.
Moving on. That one was really cool. It was really rough. You took a look at the map that was on my back, and I'm choosing that one was not full. That's never gonna be fully healed. I'll explain why in just a second. Actually, wait, I can explain right now. I went and told everyone I had a map cover on my back. Every interaction I had, I was like, "Oh, I have a map cover on my back, by the way." And we're like, "What? What?" And then one of my favorite things happened is Malvino came later. It was before dark, but I was out by the gate, and he came up and he gave me a map, and it is this.
Oh,
Yours
wow.
is so much bigger than mine.
Is it bigger?
Yeah.
Are you saying like this is like your
So,
skin off your back?
We would tell us like, oh, Malvino gave us. He's like, oh, I also have a leather map. Yeah, it's on my back. Oh, yeah, wait. Oh, is this the map? Is this the map? And so, this is canonically the map from Griff's back.
I have a smaller one.
That was like, you know, by over here, you know. It was a 2-part map, you know. But yeah, it's roughly the size of my torso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Yeah, you can always get.
Yeah. Essentially, you cut it off.
Yeah. Well, I'm still trying to figure it out. I think it's hilarious. It doesn't make sense with what we just discussed, but like if Malvino rolled a natural 20 charisma check and got it from an orc, or like
If anyone could, it's Malvino.
it's Malvino, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what most likely happened is it got cut off me or something like that, and the Bonita healed it up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, regardless of that, I have a physical map of my skin from my back. It's also the only physical, like, official map I own, because I don't like the official map
Yeah, I
from
don't really like
Reckoning.
him either.
I've said my distaste for it before.
Yeah, we have established.
Yeah. That's why I make my own maps.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. It's also by an orc, and orcs, of course, you know, they don't have the right information, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's incorrect. Yeah. That was good. That was my favorite. Do you have any more to say about that?
Nope.
Yeah. Also, when I was up there, fixing the recording, I try to make sure you're in focus. I'll never send you a screenshot of that. That is one of, like, the best looks I've seen for Valley. Like, you looked like, I don't want to say, it was like, because, like, how the mantle was, like, going around you, and the position you had, and the hair, you looked, that was Warrior Valley. That was fierce. So,
Yeah.
I've seen
Not Murder Valley, Warrior Valley.
Warrior Valley.
Two different things.
Two different things. Speaking of Warrior,
That's when you officially made the switch, right?
that
Like
moment.
you'd officially, like, game mechanics wise, you
Game
officially
mechanics-
made the switch earlier before game, but this is when you, like, donned your
That's
armor.
when I started changing my ramble from scared and traumatized to a fierce determination. That's when I became a warrior. That's one of the biggest moments in Griff of, like, he gave up the weapons because he didn't want to do it again, and now he's like, he's always hated the magic. He started hating the magic for a while, but now he sees it as a necessary tool. Same with the 2-handed weapons.
Mm-hmm.
it's a necessary evil to him, and that's when he started using it. And after that, I killed a whole bunch of people. I just kept on doing it. And like, it wasn't intentional. I didn't play any different. It's just I just had a lot more battles. I think I fought 3 people after that. I only officially killed 1, but I officially killed 2. I only injured 2 others. But anyway, long story short, that is when Griff became a warrior. I had actually planned to start the game as a spell scribe and then switch during it because of the whole ritual mechanic thing of like changing. Yeah, I think from what I understood from the rituals, you can change classes, right?
That's not a built-in feature, really. Yeah. We could add like the magical tag, but it doesn't mean you can switch classes.
I forget how it was. I was also going to talk to staff about it, but then the whole Spellscribe staff rules came out, and I was like upset about that. And then I became a warrior instead. But I think it worked out perfect. I think it worked out great. I think it was meant to be like that, and I was a warrior from then. The next chance I got, I went to my camp and I got out my old chainmail.
It was like very shortly afterwards. Yeah. This is also the part where Herf and I started to have a really tight
about
bond.
Bryn.
Yeah. So
I didn't know I messed it up till at the hotel.
Yeah.
But Bryn came up to me and be like, "So why did you start a rumor that I was dead?"
Yeah, Brynwolf. So Brynwolf was in Riveling camp at the time, but we didn't know this. And Herf comes up after he's up and is like, "Where is Brynwolf?" And Griff goes, "He was with us. I think he was one of us."
So I said something like that. I knew the name, but I didn't know.
No, someone else asked first, not Herf.
So I didn't know the guy's name. It probably was Win, and like I heard him being described as Win.
Win's a female.
No, it was a dude. It was a dude because I thought it was Gin.
No.
But
we'll never know.
I have no idea. I don't know who that man was. I don't know. I'm so sorry. It was a really tragic moment as you were fed Phoenix ears and nose and then slashed your throat. But I'm really sorry I don't remember your name. But I thought the name was Bryn. I obviously knew it wasn't the person Bryn because they look totally different. Mm-hmm. Look nothing alike. But Brynwolf, yeah. Brynwolf and the person that died in the camp, they look completely different. I just thought the names were. And so I said that. I said Brynwolf. And then that's why.
Yeah. So the group had already like gone off up the hill towards Oblivion when we told Herf about it. I think it was Herf.
Yeah.
No, it was Herf because Herf was breaking down. He was like he thought he lost one of his Vidir.
Yeah. Again, after Divin Falls, where like 80% of the Vidir were lost.
Yeah.
So he was going to go stand on the hill and wait for the crew that went to Oblivion to come back. And Volley, still in her armor, was like, "Can I wait with you?"
Herf was one of the best characters this year. It really, really was.
Yeah. And Dwayne was off doing something. I don't remember what. And then he, like, then Herf decided to not wait the entire time. Like, we were out there for a good while, and then he's like, "Okay, let's go back in." They're in Hellaby's hands at this point. Either they'll come back or they won't. So we go back inside, and I kid you not, like 10-15 minutes later, here comes Brynwolf from the and they're like, "You're alive!"
He's like, yeah.
Like, no, the women's treated me great.
Yeah. Don't trust Griff when it comes to names.
I'm sorry, don't. Even at work, I don't know anyone's names that I work with on a regular basis. I don't know at all. I'm decent at charisma, you know. I'm decent at faking it, and so I faked everyone's names for a while. I didn't know your real name for the longest time.
Oh, that's fine.
Like, I think it was the Wind Fair that I didn't know either. It was after the Wind Fair.
Well, I also kept hearing different names from you, so I was just like, this person.
This person, yeah.
Well, he's got like 4 of them.
Yeah.
He went back to his camp after the whole RP with Volley, and he put the chainmail on, and he got everything set up. He walked up to Ike and Ogrim's tents, and earlier in the week, Ike was borrowing my axe, and he was like, Ike. No, so I walked up. I stood there and I turned, and they were both sitting there. And Ongrim was like, where'd you get the chainmail? Oh, when'd you get the chainmail? Oh, just now. Where? My tent. Okay. And I look at Ike. Ike, I need that axe back. And it was a really cool moment. I liked it. And he's like, awesome. He wasn't using it at the time. He was using I think a shield and a sword at the time. And I got the axe back, and I went out, and that is when I met with Matthew. Matthew still owed me money. I'm going to keep the details of that conversation down low, but it was essentially me asking him as a friend for help on something. It was a really cool moment. Last I know, he'd been kidnapped. I haven't had him since, and then I got kidnapped, a little while later, by the orcs. And so I went up and I saw him across the bridge by the water, and I stood in the other end, and he yelled. He saw me in full armor with the helmet and everything like that. And it's like, aha, so you're here to extort me now, I see. And I put the axe down. I just looked at him and be like, screw the money, screw all that. And it was a really big moment for both of our characters, like the relationship between each other, because we had both been friends in the game, even though he owed me money. It was a funny little thing, but this is a really cool moment of I asked him for help, and it was a really cool moment.